Today's edition of the Nutgraf is titled Everything, Everywhere, Ola at Once. Bhavish Agarwal encounters the biggest, baddest supervillain yet, which I call irrelevance. The one thing I'll say about Ola is that they inspire me to come up with very colorful metaphors, analogies, and wordplay. A couple of years back, I came up with one to describe Ola Electric's maniac focus on short-term wins in a market where winning was only possible over the long term. I call the company, and I quote, a sprinter that is running a marathon. Last year, when Krutrim, the AI company founded by Bhavish Agarwal, received a $50 million investment to become a unicorn company, I wrote that, and I quote, it's almost as though unicorns are imaginary animals. Then, a few months later, when Agarwal was locked in a really stupid Twitter war with the stand-up comedian Kunal Kamra, I wrote an edition of this newsletter with the headline, How Ola Electric Blew Its Lead, which, by the way, is a fabulous pun that I was extremely proud of that worked at multiple levels, but also one that nobody noticed, not even Jonathan, my editor. Anyway, now I'm here with yet another analogy to explain what Ola is going through in 2025. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once is one of my favorite movies of all time. If you haven't watched it yet, please keep that information to yourself unless you want me to ridicule you for your poor taste to 500,000 registered subscribers in next week's edition. The premise for the movie is quite simple. Evelyn, a middle-aged Chinese woman who's played by the wonderful Michelle Yeoh, is swept up into an insane adventure in which she alone must save existence by exploring other universes and connecting with the lives that she could have led. In some universes, Evelyn is rich, successful, and famous. In another, she runs an ordinary laundromat. In another, she's an expert in martial arts. You get the picture. If you don't, go watch it. Most startups in India are content to exist in one universe. Some bold ones, like Swiggy and Zomato, exist across a couple of universes, like food delivery and quick commerce. Others are bolder still and try their hand in 4 or 5 universes, like Paytm or PhonePe. In some universes, each of these companies are rich. This is just the trailer edition of the Nutgraf. Because starting from this week, the Nutgraf is going to become a paid podcast. If you want to listen to the entire newsletter, which is around nearly 17 to 18 minutes, I recommend getting a subscription to the Ken. A subscription to the Ken is not that expensive because it also gets you access not just to this podcast, but you can also read all of our wonderful stories, our newsletters, and the other podcast that I do with my co-host Rohin titled 2x2. Which I also really recommend. To subscribe, you can just head over to theken.com and you'll see our subscription plans up there. You should subscribe to the premium plan because that's what unlocks all of our paid audio products as well. And I look forward to you subscribing and coming and reading out every week's edition of the Nutgraf to you. Thank you, and I'll see you again next week.